I remembered the sound before anything else. Not the words, not the sight, just the sound. Her laughter, light, ringing, cutting through the clatter of glasses and the faint music floating from a party somewhere down the street. I stood in the doorway of our home, tie loose around my neck after a long day, expecting to find her waiting for me, expecting the comfort of a quiet evening together. Instead, her heels were tossed carelessly in the hallway, and her voice floated in through the open window, carefree, unburdened, alive in a way I hadn't heard in months. But that joy wasn't for me. My chest thudded as I stepped outside, drawn by something I didn't want to face. From the curb, I spotted her across the street, surrounded by a group of people, drink in hand, leaning close to a man's ear like she belonged there, not in the life we had built together. My throat closed. We had plans that night. We had us. When her eyes finally found me, her smile faltered just for a second before her expression turned cold, almost defiant. She walked over, the scent of her perfume striking me like a shield she'd wrapped herself in. "Don't wait up," she said simply, brushing past me without pause. No explanation. No hint of guilt or apology. Just a dismissal, like our marriage was some minor inconvenience that got in the way of her evening. That night, I packed a bag. No note, no slamming doors, no grand declarations, I just left. And I stayed gone. 2 years passed before I saw her again. I built something that resembled a life far away from the house, where I used to sit waiting for her to come home. I worked quietly in a small town where no one asked about my past, and I kept to myself. I became a man of routines. Coffee at dawn, walks through quiet streets, nights spent staring at books I barely read. Loneliness became easier to bear than betrayal, but time doesn't erase everything. Her face would still appear in my mind when I least expected it. Her laughter, her dismissive look, the way she made me feel invisible. I told myself I was better off, that I had survived. But part of me still wondered if she ever cared enough to notice I was gone. Then one evening, as rain streaked down my apartment window, the answer found me. A message popped up from an old mutual friend. "She's been asking about you. She regrets what happened." Regret. That single word made my chest ache. Could regret really mend what she had destroyed? Could it take away the endless nights I lay awake replaying the last look she gave me? That cold finality in her eyes? I didn't answer right away. I tried to ignore it. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. A week later, I found myself walking streets I once knew by heart, streets that now felt strangely hostile and foreign. Her apartment looked the same, plants still crowding the balcony, curtains drawn just enough to let the light spill through. My heart pounded as I knocked. When the door opened, time seemed to stall. She looked older, yes, but softer somehow, stripped of the arrogance she had worn like a crown that night. Her eyes widened and immediately brimmed with tears. "Daniel," she whispered, as though saying my name might make me vanish again. I had come ready to spit out every bitter line I'd rehearsed for 2 long years, but instead, I just stood there numb. She stepped back and invited me in. The place smelled of wine and vanilla candles. The table was set for 2. I couldn't tell if she had been expecting me or if this was how she lived every night, preparing for a ghost who never came. "I thought you were dead," she said at last, her voice breaking. "I was," I replied quietly. "At least to you." We sat across from each other, the silence between us sharp and heavy. Finally she spoke. "I was selfish. That night, I just wanted to feel alive again. And you were always so far away, working late, exhausted. I told myself I deserved more." Her lips trembled. "I thought you thought he was better." I shook my head. "No. You thought you were missing something. But you weren't." She blinked back tears. "I threw everything away for nothing. He left. Everyone left. And when you did too, I finally saw what I'd done." Her voice cracked as she spoke, but I couldn't erase the sound of her laughter that night. The way she leaned into another man while I stood across the street. I stared at her, searching for the woman I had once loved enough to give up everything for. All I saw now was someone shattered, clutching at pieces too sharp to hold. "I waited for you," she whispered. "Every day. I prayed you'd come back. Please, Daniel, let me make this right." My chest ached. Part of me wanted to cross the table, to take her hands, to let myself believe. But another part of me remembered the look on her face that night. The look that told me I no longer mattered. You didn't lose me because of that man, I said at last. You lost me because you chose him over us. You chose one night over everything we built. Her composure broke, and she sobbed into her hands. The sound tore at something deep inside me. This was the woman I had once loved more than my own life, falling apart in front of me. But forgiveness isn't the same as forgetting, and forgetting is impossible. I stood, my chair scraping against the floor. Her head shot up, panic flooding her face. Don't leave again, she pleaded, tears streaking down her cheeks. Please, don't disappear this time. I walked to the door, heart heavy but steady. I already did, I said, meeting her eyes one last time. And this time, I didn't look back. Outside, the rain felt cool, almost cleansing against my skin. I breathed deeply, the truth settling over me like a final verdict. She had once been my whole world. But worlds end, and life moves on. Her regret would be hers to carry. My pain would stay with me in quiet moments. But that night, I chose myself. 2 years ago, she chose a party over me. Tonight, I finally chose to stop waiting for her.